Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing a video which is going to be a little bit different than my usual videos. I am going to be starting a new series where I kind of talk about a little bit more serious things and my opinion on them. They might not all be like serious things, but I want to call this my opinion, which will be the name of the series. And I'll just talk about things that I have opinions on. Cool. And they might be controversial because I kind of want to do things like gender identification and sexuality, which is this one, and just things, dating, things. So yeah, to preface what I'm about to say, and just to forewarn people, because I think people think that I'm younger than I am. I'm currently 20. I've lived sort of life. I'm not gonna say I lived a long, healthy life and I know everything there is to know. But I've lived for a while. I know things. I have opinions on things. I have formed my own right to think things. So we're just going to talk about those things. So, yeah. Whew. I kind of ran out of breath there. But today's is sexuality because I am taking a sexuality class. I'm taking a human sexuality class in my college. And before the class started, the teacher was kind of like how basically taking a course like this, especially his course, will change the way you feel about this thing that we call sexuality. And I think that's true because I think we're kind of, what we think is sexuality and the realm that we think sexuality is versus, I guess, science's reasoning for sexuality is probably different. I think that a lot of us, like as people, as humans, as teenagers, as adults, we kind of, it's formed into, we have to label ourselves, and that's our sexuality, because everything needs a label so we understand what we're willing to do or what we're not willing to do, or what we like or what we dislike. And I don't think it shouldn't matter as much as it does, but it does matter, and it's also really confusing, and it's also like, it's jumbly and it's creepy and stuff, because you know what, I think a lot of people struggle with their sexuality because they just don't feel normal in society, which is weird because our society is so overly sexualized that if you don't feel that way about someone, you're automatically weird, or you're automatically like, yeah, you're weird, you're different, you're shunned from this experience of life, where I think that though to shelter yourself from like, I guess like sexual things doesn't help either. Like there should be a balance. Like you should, it sounds weird to be like, we overexpose ourselves to certain things, and so because of that, it kind of ruins it for people who don't want to be exposed to that or whatever. It's not even a religious thing. I think it's just literally we're just really overexposed to certain things right now. And so, like in movies, I was watching a video and they were saying how movies can like imitate how a society is, a country is, because if you watch that country's movie, you'll most likely see things that are cultural that you may not notice if if you're from that culture, but if you're in a different culture, you'll totally see it. So, yeah, like, in America, I think you can watch a teen show and totally see you can totally see sex scenes and stuff like that, and I think that does affect our sexuality. Also, I feel like it's kind of one of those things where we're kind of just trying to be cool. I know some people pretend to be gay because it's a trend, and I think that's stupid, but yeah. There's so many things now that go into why we label ourselves or why we feel this way or whatever, and it's weird. It's so weird how much pressure there is. And if you know, I feel like people who know exactly what their sexuality is, that's awesome and that's cool and that's so amazing, because I think a lot of us don't, because it's kind of confusing, like I said, because we're trying to label ourselves, and labels kind of mess everything up. I literally, I feel like a lot of people do this, but I'm on Facebook a lot lately, I don't know, I go through phases where I'm really, really into Facebook, and I go into phases where I really hate Facebook. But currently I've been in the mood to like read Facebook posts and like Facebook posts and repost and stuff. And so you see like things about you see like things about sexuality saying that like if you like this then you're a something, or like a this and that, and like you know, and some of it's really stupid, and people do consider those like branches of sexuality, which I am not disrespecting them at all. I just think that when you subcategorize and categorize and just label everything, I think it starts losing its meaning, because you're just trying to give it meaning and pushing meaning into it. And I think that's kind of the problem with sexuality now, versus your actual sexuality. I feel like I'm talking about the topic of sexuality and what's kind of wrong with the idea of it as a word now. But in reality, it's not a big deal if you like someone, if you don't like someone who you want to be with. And yes, sexual orientation and romantic orientation are completely different, but yeah. And I think we need to start and realize that we just need to just accept other people for who they are. Like, we shouldn't shun someone because they only are attracted to girls, or they're only attracted to guys, or whatever. Because yeah, unless it's like really weird, I kind of feel like there's no reason to be like, they're so weird, they're so bad, oh my god, they're going to hell. And I've also been listening to that song, Take Me to Church, a lot, and I really like it, but I don't know, like there's like parts of that song that I don't necessarily get, and I guess if I like analyze it, I'll get it, but it's like, it makes sense, it sort of makes sense, it sort of makes sense, but a lot of people don't like that song because of the aspect of saying the church and sexuality, which, you know, so some people do think sexuality is a choice, and some people think that sexuality is just what you're born with, or exposure. I think it's a little bit of both. I think that like you're predispositioned a bit, but at the same time you learn from other things and other people and other, because you don't just, okay, like for example, this is an extreme example, you don't just one day become a drug addict. You try something, you become addicted to it, and you become an addict. So how do you know if you like something else you've never tried it? You know? And I think that's where experimenting comes in, and I know a lot of people hate the word experimenting, but for some people I think it's necessary, because you're kind of at that point where you're like, I don't know if I actually feel this way, or I think I feel this way. And that's also really confusing about sexuality, where it's like, there's no right or wrong answer, and there's no answer, there's no rule book, there's no, this is what you're supposed to do in your life book. So, which is true for everything and anything, but it's weird, so. And on top of that, this year, gay marriage is legalized in all 50 states, woo! It sounds so sarcastic, but I was really excited about it. And even though it doesn't necessarily affect me, I learned, because New York, we had same-sex marriage for like, at least like 10 years now, but that kind of thing where people are getting mad over that all 50 states now have that is really stupid, because, like I said, I'm just someone who doesn't think that sexuality should matter as much as it does. I think it also shouldn't, like, I think we make sexuality such a big deal, and it's not as much as we should. But yeah, pretty much that's it. Like, it's more of a big deal because we think of it as a big deal, versus it really isn't, because it's not usually. And so like, and I'm not like discrediting coming out videos, because I feel like if it ever came out to anyone for any reason, you know how coming out is a big thing, and it's like this huge thing, and because something, because you're telling other people things that only you know about yourself, and that's another huge thing about sexuality. I realize is like, it shouldn't matter because it's a you thing, it's not a we thing. but people make it a we thing, as we as society. And it's like, it's not, it's a, if I want to be with someone, it's a me thing. I chose this, and me and my partner chose it. So, yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. I'm really rambly. I also don't know how long this has been going for. 10 minutes. I feel like I've been talking for 20, but 10 minutes. But yeah, I have a lot of opinions, and I have a lot of feelings, and I don't know what, I don't think this will all fit in this video, and I don't also know what to talk about. So, it's one of those things where it's just such a wide topic that I could go on forever. But, I don't know, I hope people don't take this video the wrong way. It's just me explaining my personal thoughts on this. So, if you guys want to just talk about it, and leave a comment down below. And technically, I know that some people would be like, but if you love all people, then you're pansexual, or whatever. And here's my opinion on this. Stop labeling people. I feel like labeling is the problem of all of our existence. So, labeling is annoying, so I might change the title of this video now, like, my opinions on sexuality and labeling, because that way you get more interest in the video. But yeah, so I'm gonna try to do these once a month, and I have the next month actually planned out. So yeah, if you guys have any like videos you want me to do in this series where I just talk, tell me, because yeah, even though I am a single girl, I learned from other people's mistakes, I learned from my mistakes, so I am a very intuitive person. So if you have anything to add or say, or comments or concerns, just leave them down below, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!